When I look at 5.56, what it is and its design and capabilities, this round was, as true as it is, this was never designed to kill. Never. Can it kill? Absolutely. Anything can kill. But that wasn't the purpose behind going to a cartridge such as this. In the 1950s, Armalite Company began its experimentation, its testing, and its development for a new cartridge, which ended up becoming and was created into this. This is the 5.56 by 45 NATO. Awesome cartridge, a lot of capabilities, but definitely some reasons behind why they end up going with this. That was developed and that was necessary for what would become the new military contract that was on the horizon. And that military contract and those testings were in return called the Small Cartridge High Velocity Assault Weapon Experimentations. That's what it was for the new military contract. And it needed to do just that. This new cartridge, this new contract for this ammo needed to meet two qualifications and specifications. It needed to be extremely small in casing, small caliber, and it needed to be high in velocity, high velocity. And the reasons behind that is all based on our findings from World War I and II. We learned a lot of valuable lessons from World War I, especially World War II. We found out that he who lays down the most firepower wins. He who has the most shots to put into the battlefield wins. He who lays down the most ammo and after you're done shooting still has ammo to expend wins the war. That is what our findings were. So when we moved to this 5.56 cartridge, it was just for that, to be able to have more ammo to lay down for suppressive fire. In the 1960s, leading up to that contract that would take place, our military found out and concluded that an 8-man squad carrying 5.56 could carry twice as much ammunition as an 11-man squad carrying 308 or 7.62 by 51 or 7.62 by 39. So an 8-man squad could carry twice as much of this as what a soldier carrying 308. Impressive. But what was the purposes behind that? What was the reasonings? And the reasonings behind that was all to do with suppressive fire, being able to hold the enemy at bay. This needed to be lightweight. Why? So they could carry more ammo, have more to expend, and at the same time be high velocity. And with extreme speed, when you're talking about a caliber such as this, you're clocking in at 4,500 feet per second or better, which is extremely fast. You're covering a lot of ground really fast with this cartridge. So if the cartridge is able to have a good penetration and a high velocity, then your extreme wind speeds don't really matter as much when this is getting from point A to point B extremely fast. So if we could hold the enemy at bay by laying down a bunch of suppressive fire, your artillery can come in and your mortars can destroy that position and you move on to the next one. That's all this was made for, was to hold down that position. In 1963, this cartridge was adopted into the military as a NATO cartridge and will be used amongst our troops. 5.56 is what you have. 2 years after that, I believe, this cartridge hit the shelf, renamed as 223, and they named that as a sporting cartridge. That means for sporting purposes, or varmint round is what this pretty much was known as when it entered the civilian market for civilian sporting purposes. So this round was actually used back home for varmints. It was used for pest control, shooting foxes and things like that that were a big pest and nuisance to farms. That was the thing behind this cartridge. When I look at 5.56, what it is and its design and capabilities, this round was, as true as it is, this was never designed to kill. Never. Can it kill? Absolutely. Anything can kill. But that wasn't the purpose behind going to a cartridge such as this. The purpose was to hold down and use suppressive fire to hold down a location so that your artillery can come. So if I am laying down a bunch of firepower on a location and getting the penetration I need to on that location that's a little further out, after we locate the position, and we will get a location on that enemy's position, we can send in our artillery and destroy that entire position. beautiful design. But when you look at it, this is all based on military strategy. This was all based around 8-man squads, 11-man squads. This was based around this squad from the military versus our opposition squad, and who would have the better means of survival in regards to laying down some firepower so that artillery could come in and take care of the rest of the business. One of the things that consider when you're talking about this cartridge being used in military use is it was used to wound, not to kill. The design and the purpose of this cartridge is to wound, not to kill. We considered using military strategy that if you wound one guy, it takes 2 extra soldiers to carry him off the battlefield. So for every 1 you wound, you're taking 3 soldiers off the battlefield. You're increasing your chances of winning wars by taking their soldiers off of the battlefield. So consider that, because we look at these things on the civilian market, and our look at civilians is totally different. When I get into calibers like this on a civilian level, I'm looking for a caliber that does the most damage. I'm not looking to wound, I'm looking to kill. That's what that is the purpose behind, me being a civilian. So it's funny how a lot of us as gun guys and a lot of us as the gun culture, we pick up and do things just because the military does it. The military uses this, so I want to use it. The military uses it and does this, so I want to do that. This is the ammo the military uses, so I want to use the same ammo or the same guns or the same whatever. And that's cool, but as a civilian, I'm not limited to what the military uses. We have different things, in regards to self-defense situations and scenarios. So consider that when you're looking at this. In a nutshell, what is 5.56? 5.56 is little brother, artillery is big brother. The little brother walks up to the bully and spits on him and tries to egg him on to come and fight and blah 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 blah. And finally, when the bully stands up and the bully reveals his location, big brother comes out the background and destroys the bully. That's what this is, little brother.